everyone, it's your cousin, Kitwana. A couple months ago I showed you my very first Action Man set that I owned in my childhood. The Mission Grizzly set I featured on Kitwana's Toys number 78. And today we are looking at a second set that I actually owned in my childhood, and that which I was able to find again on eBay just a couple days ago, and it's finally arrived at my place. And that set is the Polar Mission Action Man set, also from 1999, like the Mission Grizzly set, which you can see behind me. And this toy is a fantastic example of a toy company actually going the extra mile and putting a lot of effort into designing and creating this toy, as you will be able to see throughout this video. Let's start with the box. You can already see what I really like is everything is neatly presented. You can see all the contents, you can see the rifle, the missiles, and there's a mission card, and you can see the entire set being very nicely displayed in this box. That's really cool. Actually, not just in a straight line, but also slightly going uphill a little bit. This is very cool. And what's also very cool is the artwork. Take a look here. Now, this is really amazing, and I think the 1990s and the early 2000s were really a golden age for us toy collectors, and a golden age for playsets like this, shortly before the internet and smartphones became common. This is it's something you hardly see nowadays, a playset with that much quality and effort being put into it. And this continues on the back of the box. You can see here everything is neatly described, and they set it up in a nice diorama. I mean, I'm aware the background is likely digital, but the foreground with the what looks like snow and ice, that's definitely real. So think of all the people that are required to just design a box. I mean, you need a digital artist, you need a photographer, a graphical designer, and so on. And let's see what this set is all about. Now, one would suspect that the animal included here is a dog, or more specifically a husky, of course, but it's not. You can see here it's actually supposed to be a wolf, codenamed Blizzard. What a surprise. And I really like how everything is neatly described here. It's got a thermal imaging unit, and a communications module on the sled, an actual harpoon launcher, and Action Man is wearing a thermal insulated suit for the cold weather conditions. And we've got a mission map here, and it also says that the sled rolls along on wheels. There are tiny wheels at the bottom of the sled, which you will see later on. And up here we can see that the harpoon launcher actually can not only be mounted on the sled, but also on the wolf. Well, this is really cool, and of course it's got 3 action sounds. Let's see if the primary function works. You press the orange button on his collar. Now, these were the 3 sounds. it's pretty hard to describe what this one is supposed to be. It sounds like gunfire or something. That sounds like wind noises. And this, of course, the characteristic howl. And we take a look at the sides of the box. Nothing too interesting except for that disclaimer that made me do a double take. Action Man does not identify with any known living person. I wonder why they had to include that. That's not even the only weird disclaimer. There's another one on here on the back of the box that says product is shown in a fantasy situation. I wonder why they had to include that, because there's a story behind every disclaimer. They don't do this simply because it's fun. I would be interesting to know the story behind these disclaimers. But the story of this Polar Mission set is interesting enough as well. And let's take a look at the original commercial that aired back then, so we get to know a bit more about the backstory.
Action Man!
One of the greatest heroes of them all.
Dr. X is destroying the Polar Ice Cap! But Polar Mission Action Man teams up with Blizzard, his fearsome wolf, and are hot on his trail. With electronic sounds and firing polar missile, Blizzard is unleashed! Action Man!
One of the greatest heroes of them all.
And runs X down! Chill out, X. New Action Man, Polar Mission, and Blizzard! Dr. X sold separately.
And there we are again, and of course we want to take a detailed look on this set. And believe it or not, I have been able to find this twice on eBay, once in the box and one that came loose but complete with all the parts. And before we get to that, for these kids who need a little bit of help with their imagination to play with this toy, there is a mission card included. And I really like the wording on this card. It really shows how much effort Hasbro put into this toy. I wish Hasbro was still like that. Nowadays, if you've seen the Jurassic World disaster, I mean, that's a far cry from it. But anyway, back to the Polar Mission card here. Mysterious magnetic pulses detected 5 miles from the North Pole, and then it goes on. As suspected, this is the work of cold-hearted Dr. X. Of course, it's always Action Man versus Dr. X. That's always the play pattern with basically every set that was released. And of course, these magnetic pulses, they render any navigational instruments useless, and the weather conditions do not allow any air approach, and so you have to take Blizzard, the wolf, and the sled and head out towards the North Pole and capture the cold-hearted Dr. X and put his plans on ice. Nice wording, Hasbro. That's too fun. So now let's take a look at the set, which I have here. And as said, this is a complete set, like it would be out of the box. It's also a pretty long set, measures around 18 inches in length, and Action Man is of course a standard 12-inch action figure. But let's start with Blizzard, the wolf. And I'd say he looks amazing. Look, let's start at the face. It's got the orange eyes, Action Man orange, and He's looking through the viewfinder of his thermal imaging unit that's mounted on his back. You can actually even move the viewfinder over his eye, or you can move it away from it. I really like the molding. You can see the teeth and everything, and it's got a black nose and grey ears. And the sounds, as said, are being triggered by pressing the orange button on his collar. The batteries can be accessed by unscrewing his head. You remove it like that, and that's where the battery compartment is. There are 2 button cell batteries in there, which are fortunately included with these. And then panning across its back, you can see the Action Man logo on its left hand side. On the right hand side, he does have an antenna of the thermal imaging unit that sends the data to the communications module on the sled. The sled, of course, attaches on his back. It's very easy to remove and put back on. It simply snaps into place. And you can see the sled is also done very nicely. We got the communications module with a radar dish, which actually is movable. You can turn this around, and the same is true for the harpoon launcher. That comes with a set of missiles. There are 3 missiles included, as you can see in the box, and the harpoon launcher can be placed onto the sled as well as onto the Blizzard, the wolf, right here, and then you can also turn this around as you wish. But of course, I tested these missiles, and they fly pretty far, so do not aim on any living object, which should go without saying. And you fire off the missiles by pressing down on the scope on top of the gun right here. And you can tell this set is really complete. As you can see, the 2 spare missiles click into place on the left hand side of the sled, so I'm really glad I was able to find a complete set that came with all clothing parts, the rifle, the missiles, the dog, the sled, the harpoon launcher, and everything, including the mission card. So really cool. What you're looking at here is really the complete polar mission set. A couple of stickers on the sled, as you can see, but they definitely, even though they are stickers, it doesn't look cheap or anything. They did that really nicely. And then here on the back, at the back of the sled, we have, of course, the main protagonist, the Action Man figure. And of course, this fully poseable figure can be removed from the sled. He's holding on with his gloves here onto the sled, and take him off. You can see he comes dressed in a complete winter outfit. He's wearing a green neck warmer and a red suit, which is combined with black pants and of course really heavy black boots. And the boots actually have a slit in them, so you can pull them apart. That makes it easier to pull them off and put them on again. And of course, Action Man also has his rifle with him at all times, and it has wear goggles. Action Man's clothing is fully removable. I really like that. Should it ever get dirty, you will have no problem to clean this. It's also the material feels very authentic, like winter clothing actually would be. It doesn't feel cheap or anything. It's just the neck warmer that tends to fray a bit if you put it on and off multiple times. Then this can put some stress onto the material that was used. But the pants and the jacket is actually really cool, and the jacket is closes and opens by a Velcro on his front chest. And it also has the Action Man lettering on his chest. And there's a hoodie that actually would go over its head. And the pants are the same material like the jacket. And I really like these heavy boots. These are designed very well, and actually a good fit. And you can see he fits perfectly onto this little platform on the back of the sled. His gloves fit the handles very well, and he grips them tightly, so you can play with this set with no problem without Action Man falling off that easily. Let's take a detailed look on him. The face is really nice. Actually, there has been a US and a UK European version, and what I have here, both sets are the US version, and you can tell them apart by the head sculpt of Action Man. The US version here has a little bit shorter hair and a slightly different face. And I have to say, I like the US version a little bit better, the head sculpt of it. Looks pretty realistic as well. So let's take a look at the points of articulation and all the accessories that come with Action Man. So here's a shot of the naked figure, and you can see this figure has an incredible 13 points of articulation at the neck, the shoulders, the elbows, and at the wrists. The gloves can turn around 360 degrees, and of course it's also articulated at the hips, at the knees, and even down at the feet. This is really cool. This allows for great posability. So you can actually put it on the sled with like one foot being posed like that. And then you can, of course, have him hold on onto the sled like this. This is a really cool set. Now, I said the sled has some tiny wheels underneath. They work best on a flat hard surface, of course, like I have here on my wooden table. So you can pull along the sled very easily like that. And this allows for a lot of fun playtime. This is an absolutely great set. I'm really happy that I found another childhood memory online and that I have it back in my paws. This is really cool. I remember I was playing a lot with these Action Man sets, and they were pretty popular in Europe, even though they were sold in the US as well, and Hasbro actually is an American company. These were much more popular in Europe. As you probably already have seen in episode number 78, where I talked about the history of Action Man. Action Man actually started out as the British equivalent to the American G.I. Joe action figures. In the mid-1960s, Action Man was first created and manufactured by British toy company Polytoy. And then the first version Action Man existed until 1984, and then Hasbro revived the brand in 1993 and manufactured a variety of Action Man sets until 2006. So this was extremely popular and ubiquitous in European toy stores throughout the 90s. And I remember a third set that I had back then. I remember it was Action Man with a tiger. I think it was called Tiger Strike or something like that. That had a jumping tiger. When you push down on its tail, the tiger would leap forward. I haven't been able to find that yet, but hopefully I will in the future, and when I find it I will feature it here on Kitwana's Toys. One last look onto the Polar Mission set. Really a great set, as said, with a wolf that makes noises. And the quality of the audio is actually very nice. Until today, Hasbro, that's one thing they definitely do right. They use the better audio quality and better speakers than Mattel does. Even though, as said, some of these sounds are actually hard to tell what they actually are, so if you have an idea, let me know down in the comments. I mean, the howl is obvious, and the wind noise is pretty obvious as well, but this one is not so obvious. This could be anything, probably the radar unit or something. So that would be really interesting to talk to the designers of the Action Man line. I mean, you have to come up with an idea like this at first, and there's a lot of work that goes into designing such a complicated piece of plastic like Blizzard the Wolf here is, and then all the details on the sled, and of course the action figure is more of a standard figure, of course, but still the combination of everything makes it one of the most awesome playsets in the Action Man line. There's actually there are some more playsets shown here. I remember the funnel dart version. Can't remember actually the other two, with the sports car and that ATV skateboard, it looks like. Well, it looks pretty cool though. A loose Polar Mission set is still pretty easy to find on eBay for give or take around $50. The boxed versions are still around as well, a bit more rare, but still you can find them multiple times a year. They do pop up, and you just have to shell out a little bit more. Figuring around $60 to $80 is a good price. I wouldn't pay more than that. The original retail price I can no longer remember, but it must have been something around 40 to 50 or so. If you can remember, let me know in the comments below. Of course, it's more than 20 years back that this set was on sale actually 22 years ago at the time I took this video. So the world was definitely different back then. And let's look at it from the front. Zooming right into Blizzard's face. I really like all the details they molded into Blizzard. This is really cool. It's a really cool looking animal. And of course, Action Man is also a really cool action figure. Lots of playability. So bottom line, I really like the playability and the design of these Action Man sets, as well as the backstories that come with them. They really put effort into these sets, and that's what I really like. It's a toy created with passion, definitely, for sure. And it's too bad that Hasbro has derailed a bit from this path recently. As said, the Jurassic World disaster comes to mind. It looks like it's simply no longer the time for such amazing playsets like this, now with all the digital media around. But I, for sure, will always appreciate old school toys like this. This is really cool, I hope. So, thank you so much for watching this episode of Kitwana's Toys. Let me know in the comments below if you owned any Action Man sets back in the 90s. I would love to hear your stories, what your favorite Action Man set was. And we'll see you again next weekend. Goodbye.